Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends. This time we're going to be looking at the new Sejuani after she's been reworked. And in fact, we actually have a Sejuani mirror match. Yes, double dueling Sejuanis in the jungle. Between myself here on blue team and over here, XC. I think I'm just going to go with Sai for this name. I think I've done that before in videos. Who is also playing and jungling as Sejuani. At least we do have different skins. I have the traditional Sejuani skin here. But this is taken from one of our Wednesday night custom YouTube games. Alongside me, we have Spreakaway playing as Singed, Wizard Ninja Pro playing as Misfortune, Antsman playing and supporting as Janna, and Blink You Die playing as Orianna. Then on the other side, we have Senan the Pro playing as Quinn. And yes, he's going to try to Quinn it to win it in mid lane with Quinn, who also got a rather sizable buff in this particular patch. Smoke Cigarettes playing as Soraka, That Guy Gia playing as Renekton, and Soul FF7 playing as Ezreal. So those are the two sides in this game, and we're going to go ahead and look at the new version of Sejuani. So here is the traditional skin. Sejuani before, well, I can't zoom in. Sejuani before they gave her all the new armor. And by the way, I like the new character portrait design with the armor as opposed to the Sejuani in like this two-piece outfit that didn't really make sense since she's supposed to be in like the Freljord icy area or whatever. And then here's the new redesigned version of Sejuani. The boar certainly looks a lot more intimidating with this skin. The boar looks a lot tougher than the old one, which is sort of cute, I guess. Something like that. Doesn't look that intimidating though. Looks a little bit silly. So anyway, let's go ahead and line up the character portraits down here so that we can get a view on this particular match. Alright, so Sejuani mirror match, as I said. Sejuani reworked in the most recent patch as I record this, and she's actually a pretty good jungler right now, pretty strong. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be examining this Sejuani match. We're going to be contrasting, well, I'm going to be trying to focus just on this match in the jungle. The biggest difference here in terms of the setup is, what is it? What am I trying to highlight here? Oh, I am running movement speed Quince. I have 372 movement speed here. And meanwhile, Sai is running AP. I believe he's running AP. He's running something with AP. I don't know if it's AP Quince, but he definitely has ability power. So he has AP on here, and this has less movement speed. But anyway, we're both going to go ahead and do the same start. Both going to start at Wolves and then go on to the Golem buff. And Sai is going to get a little bit of a better pull here. I could have used a little bit of more help from the mid laner, and that means I'm going to have to use Smite. With a good leash, I could have saved Smite and then run straight to red, but I did have to use Smite because Singed is not the best at pulling on a blue or red buff at the start of the game. So anyway, we are mirroring each other in our starts through the jungle thus far. Let me talk then about Sejuani as a jungler, what she excels at, some of her strengths and weaknesses. Her strength is her ultimate is really good. Her ultimate is similar to Amumu's ult, is the best way I can describe it. It is sort of like a ranged skill shot version of Amumu's ultimate, as both of us continue to follow the exact same jungle path. Did Wraiths and then ran back to Wolves. So the reason why you would typically pick Sejuani is for her ult. She also has quite good mobility. Her Q gives her really nice ability to go through jungle walls. She can pull off some interesting ganks that way. So she also has a really nice slow on her E, on her permafrost, a really nice slow. So those are her strengths. Weaknesses is she's not that good at actually clearing. Her clear is quite slow compared to other junglers. Neither one of us is clearing particularly fast. She also not that great pre-6 overall. She is someone who can definitely be counter-jungled early on in the game, so keep that in mind. But on the whole, the rework definitely made her stronger, and I don't know, we may or may not see her in competitive play. I'm not in a position to say particularly. Not sure overall, but she is quite strong, and she is one of the better junglers, in part because a lot of other junglers did get nerfed in recent patches. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at her skills. She has a new passive, Frost Armor. Anytime you damage an enemy with an ability or basic attack, you get bonus armor, and a movement slow reduction by 10%. And that scales throughout the game. You actually get more bonus armor, and you get more of a movement slow reduction. So that's her this is a new passive, by the way. Bonus armor, always nice for jungling. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on this gank here in top lane. Sai is going to go in here against Spreakaway. There he initiates with his Q. Quite nice. Needs to pop that permafrost, though. There is the permafrost pop. A little slow there. And honestly, if Sai had popped that a little bit sooner, then that guy Gio might have been able to get his stun in there on Renekton. So the gank does not succeed. Good idea though, even if it didn't succeed. Meanwhile, I did not go for a gank. I continued clearing, and that means I'm going to be very slightly ahead because well, actually more than slightly ahead if you check out the numbers down here, because I stayed in the jungle, kept clearing. If Sai had been successful, if he had gotten first blood, their team would have been way ahead, but he didn't. So that means that I'm ahead. I'm about 200 gold ahead, and if you look at our items, we both went for the Spirit Stone. Hold on, I'll go ahead and highlight my character here. We both got the Spirit Stone, which is pretty much your first item you want to pick up on Sejuani. But I have the boots now, and check out, I have 400 movement speed, whereas Sai only has 340. And that is, again, due to having movement speed quints and having the boots. So that's going to make it a little bit easier for me to pull stuff off, to pull off ganks. Okay, so skills, want to continue going through these. Q, Arctic Assault. This is a 1-point skill. Put 1 point in this. I put it in at level 4. Charges forward, knocks enemies into the air, deals magic damage, and applies permafrost as well. So this is a movement speed ability. So you can go through walls, things like that. Very nice. One thing to be careful on, the mana cost is quite high early in the game. 80 mana. It is also on a fairly high cooldown, 15 seconds. So be careful about using this. You don't want to spam this too much when you don't have blue buff. You have to be careful about that. Alright, so we'll get to the other skills in a minute. I'm going to go for a gank here. Note that there's no ward in the tri-rush on their side. That's a mistake. Their team needed to have a ward here, so I'm going to look to go in. And I initially go on Ezreal, a bit of a mistake. Probably should have just focused Soraka. So the exhausts are going to come out. And by the way, I forget to use permafrost. I never use it, but we're still going to be able to get the kill nonetheless on Soraka. She's going to try. No, her flash was already down. Okay, made it particularly easy. Smoke Cigarettes had already used the Soraka flash earlier in the game, earlier in this lane. So without a flash up, not a whole lot you can do. Sejuani with red buff being applied on auto attacks versus a Soraka who does not have boots. Not really a whole lot Soraka can do. What is her movement speed? Actually not bad. Oh, she just picked up boots right there. Okay. So 362, but it was lower than that before. It was probably around 335 or so. So with red buff and all that jazz, not really a way to get away from Sejuani. I did make a mistake there. I did not use my permafrost for some reason. This is actually, I believe, the first time I played Sejuani in... I don't know, when did she come out? However long it's been since she came out. Okay, well, anyway, looking at the skills here. Her W is sort of her bread and butter jungling skill. Well, actually, we'll get to that in a second. I want to keep an eye on this gank. So, Sai is set up for a gank in bot, and our bottom lane is really overpushed. And they're going to get the retreat pings because Senan is spotted walking through a ward. So, Sai is going to come in here, but the Janna Tornado is quite good. It's going to knock him back, and I'm going to get down here as well. And that's going to push away this nicely conceived 4-man gank in bottom. But unfortunately, Sai was not 6 yet, did not have his ult, and was not able to get that gank. Okay, so... getting back to the skills, as I said, her bread and butter skill is basically her W. This is how she clears the jungle. You skill this first, and this is generally, my understanding, this is the first skill you max on Sejuani. It's what I did here. Next basic attack deals bonus magic damage. So the next time you auto attack, you get extra damage. And she then swings her flail and deals area of effect damage, magic damage, to all nearby enemies over the next 4 seconds. And so that's the idea. You can reactivate it to immediately start the AoE damage if you don't want to wait until she auto-attacks someone. So, deals area of effect damage around you. Again, this is what you use to clear camps. Note that the range of this skill is very small. The initial auto-attack is melee range, of course, and then the range on the mace swinging is only 350. Now, you can't see the range when you highlight the skill here, but it is quite small. It is only, if I can draw it, it's only like here. It's range 350, and that's not much. So, this does not have much range, unfortunately. So, keep that in mind. You have to get quite close to do the damage on this one. Generally speaking, you want to max this first, not just because it increases damage, but because the cooldown of the skill decreases. Starts at 11 seconds. I believe it goes down to 7 with max points in the skill. So you do want to max that quickly. We were trying something a little bit different here. We were trying to put 2 points in permafrost and then max W. I think that that's a mistake, though. I think it's better just to max W first. And that's what Sai was doing here on his jungle Sejuani. Largely, like I said, just because of the cooldown reduction. Okay. Third skill, her E, her permafrost. This is one of her best skills. When you first skill it, you gain a new passive. Abilities and basic attacks apply frost to enemies. And by the way, there is now a graphical effect for frost. You can see, so like right there, I just applied frost. You can then hit E to trigger the permafrost. Enemies take magic damage and are slowed. And by the way, the slow is a very high amount. It starts at 50%, it goes up to 70%. And the duration increases as well. So if you really want to be gank heavy, you can actually max that first. Alrighty, in here I'm going to go in and gank. There's the Sejuani. Oh, we'll talk more about that in a minute. By the way, once again, note I forget to use Permafrost. Why? Why am I not using Permafrost? I don't know. Senan has the charge on him. We're going to use that into the Orianna ult from Blink. So it's not going to be a kill. However, we did manage to blow the ultimate and the flash from Senan. So his flash is down, and hopefully that will help Blink. Blink you die in the middle lane. Note, by the way, the gank path. This is a nice gank path for Sejuani. Charge over the charge out of the Wraith Pit, and then immediately launch your ult. If someone's playing real aggressive, say right here, or of course on the other side if you're mirrored on red side, you know, over the wall, ult, and, you know, there's not much they can do. By the way, Senan is going to be forced back. And by the way, there's another fight in bottom lane. It looks like a gank that got turned around by Sion. Oh, Soraka going to try to flash. Will she make it out? Janna goes in, and Janna going to pick up the kill. Ansman flashes in and actually gets that kill. So very nicely played there. Anyways, I said Permafrost, really nice skill. It is a very impressive slow, so make sure you use it. The basic idea is getting close, you know, either Q in or just run in, and, you know, either Q in or run in with your ultimate. Make sure you apply that frost debuff and then slow them with Permafrost is the idea. Okay, and then her ult, you saw me use it, Glacial Prison, tosses out a Frost-forged bola. Love that phrasing. If the bola hits an enemy champ, it shatters, stuns them for 1.5 seconds. If it reaches maximum range, it shatters and slows instead. So all enemies in the area take magic damage. Very nice skill to use. It is, as I said, like a ranged skill shot. A Mumu ultimate is the best way I can describe it. Quite a nice skill. So it is something that it's something you do have to aim, but you can lock up the entire enemy team if they're bunched together. It's a really nice skill. Anyway, here Sai was chasing me, but I had Q up. I was not too scared. I would have used Q to dash out if I was in real trouble. Okay, in the matchup thus far, if you want to check out how we stand, I have cleared more jungle camps. I'm ahead in farms, and because I have an assist, I have the assist gold as well, and so I'm about 600 gold ahead. That manifests itself in the fact that I have a Kindle Gem, building again towards the, what is it, Spirit of the Ancient Golem jungling item. Okay, now here's an interesting little play. Janna had told me, Ansman had told me there was a ward in the Tribars, and I saw he had a pink, so I said, you know, pink this ward, and then I'm going to go for a gank in bottom lane. That was in our chat, so we're going to clear out the vision. Note, no vision, cannot see me coming in here. So we're going to clear out this vision and then come in here for the gank. Janna Tornado is going to come in. There's the ultimate. Remember, Soraka does not have flash. Used it in the last fight. And that will allow us to burst down Soraka. Poor Soraka, one of the squishiest champions in the game, does not have any health items or anything like that. So a very easy gank, but I just wanted to point that out because nice team communication, using the pink ward to clear out their vision, and with no flash on Soraka, very easy to get that kill. So with Soraka down, we're going to go for this dragon. We had also seen that Sai was towards, I believe we saw him towards the top side of the map a minute ago. Now, one weakness of Sejuani is she does not clear dragon or baron very fast at all. She's actually very, very slow at clearing these camps. So just be aware of it. I kept Q up. I kept up her Arctic Assault. So if disaster struck, I could dash over the wall and get out. But we are going to claim that dragon. There wasn't a whole lot they could do because their jungler was nowhere near. Sai was on the top side of the map. And we had gotten a kill in bottom lane. So we were in a strong position to take that dragon. And that's going to snowball us a little bit further ahead. And going to go ahead and, yeah, go to that camp. So what's Sai been up to? Well, so far he has not been able to pull off a successful gank. Note that Sai also went for the Kindle Gem, so we've been mirror matching each other's builds. He did also pick up some mana potions, but 2 mana potions. I mean, that's defendable because Sejuani can run herself out of mana, but I'm not sure I would have spent the gold on 2 mana potions. I probably would have bought a ward instead with that 70 gold, so you can never really have too many wards. Anyway, though, I went back to buy. And I went ahead and I had enough gold to finish Spirit of the Ancient Golem, so this is going to help me out quite a bit, largely just by getting all that health. And I picked up a Chain Vest as well towards a Sunfire Cape later on. And right now, by the way, note the Frost debuff. You can see the Frost, that's new. You didn't used to be able to see the Frost. It's really quite nice since this Sejuani rework. I'm going to go ahead and donate that blue buff over here. And in fact, the same thing was happening in bottom. Sai was donating the blue buff to Senan the Pro, the Quinn player in mid lane. So anyway, Sai's going to set up for a gank. We'll keep an eye on this. Let's see what's going to happen down here. Is setting up. Let's see. One thing Sai could do is he could actually, I believe he can Q from like right here. I believe you can actually Q into this brush and then could look to gank from there. I think that you can do that. Not 100% sure. Instead, it's going to come over here and clear that ward. but that will, of course, tell our bottom lane. Well, actually, our bottom lane's not even there. They're back in base buying, so no real opportunity for a kill there. Back in base buying. One thing I'll mention that I increasingly, have sort of come to feel from playing this game more. Oh, by the way, Spreakaway is jungling, is farming behind the tower is singed. Yeah, doing singed stuff. One thing I've increasingly come to feel is not to force ganks if there's nothing going on the map. Just go ahead and clear camps. What I wanted to do was I wanted to grab red. Sejuani, of course, much scarier with her ganks when she has red buff. So I wanted to clear red, and then I wanted to look to, go for a gank after that. Here we go. Going to go ahead and clear. But if there are camps up to be done and you don't really see anything on the map, just keep farming. You don't have to force stuff. Like right now, I'm gonna look to go for a gank. But why am I gonna do that? Well, no camps up. Blue's down. Wolves are down, Wraiths are down, Golems are down, just did red, so now is a good time to go for a gank, and I'm going to head for bottom lane. It's actually not going to be successful because their bottom lane's not there, but the idea was pretty sound. Anyway, in mid, Spreakaway has gotten tired of farming behind the tower as singed. Instead, he's going to go ahead, come mid, and try to pull off a gank on Senon's Quinn. Senon flashed out of that. I'm not sure he had to flash there. He did use his flash though. Anyway, Senon now is going to go down to Blink, but Blink is going to get locked up underneath the tower, and Sai is going to pick that up. He did not need to flash there at the tail end of that. Double buff Sejuani meant that Orianna was not getting out of that, so going to use his flash, but does get the kill. 1-for-1 trade in middle lane. However, I was watching that fight, and I did go, oh, Sejuani, or excuse me, not Sejuani. Quinn did just use her flash there, so keep an eye on that. I was like, I better go mid and try to get a kill. So I did something that wasn't so good there. I stood around in bottom lane for about 45 seconds without really doing anything, and that's what you generally want to avoid in League when you're jungling. You don't just want, you always want to be doing something with your time. You don't just want to be sitting around. So I wasted a lot of time, and it would have been better off just going back into the jungle and clearing if I didn't see anything. And at this point, I was like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and go back and start clearing, but that was a mistake. Our eyes are on the dragon. By the way, the dragon is not bolted in the spectator mode. It is in normal mode, so we're getting ready for 1830, 1828 is when we're getting ready for the next dragon, which will be in about 2 minutes. So we've got the pink word down there. Alrighty, so remember how I said Quinn does not have her flash up? I saw that Quinn just used her vision thing. What is it? Just used her W. So I was like, okay, I'm going to set up here. I've got red buff, so my autos will slow. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to dash in, and then use the ult, and then that's going to set up... Well, actually, Blink doesn't even need to use his ult. Blink could have used his ult, but he didn't even need to. So we're just going to go in, we're going to lock up poor Senon, and he really has no way to escape that. So that's going to be a pretty easy kill. When you're using those Sejuani ults, it's fun to use them at point-blank range because it's almost impossible to miss. And now we're going to look to push on this tower. We should be able to get this tower. Blink is actually going in after Sai, and I didn't realize he was going to go in, sort of go that aggressive. I probably should have looked to go. We might have been able to get the kill on Sai's Sejuani there, but instead we're just going to get the tower. But I think we could have gotten the kill there if I had played that a little bit more aggressively. And meanwhile, in bottom lane, Wizard Ninja has started to snowball ahead. He's going to pick up that kill. And then in mid lane, the 1v1, Orianna's shield allows Blink to come out ahead in that particular duel. Might not have been the best fight to pick right there. But in any case, we come out far ahead, and we've really seized control of this game off of getting that dragon, getting the tower, and then now 2 kills in middle lane. Plus, we were already ahead in bottom, and we're also winning in top lane as well, too. Although top is a little bit close. The top's a little bit closer, but Spreakaway is 600 gold ahead. Alright, so I've gone ahead and gone back to base and bought. I picked up 2 more pink words for use around dragon if we need them. I picked up another giant's belt. I'm building towards Sunfire Cape. Why is that? Well, I mentioned this in my patch review video, but Sejuani's W, which is sort of, as I said, her bread and butter damage skill, it scales off of bonus HP. Not how much health you have, but bonus hit points. So 16% bonus hit points. So you want to build a lot of health on her. You also want to build, you want to build some armor. As a tanky champion who Sejuani needs to get right into the middle of the enemy team, you need to build survivability. So Sunfire Cape is really good. It gives you health, gives you armor, increases your damage on your W via the scaling off of the bonus health, and deals magic damage to everyone around you. So Sunfire is just a really good item on her, and I'm building towards it. By the way, note the wards. We've got the pink there. We've got a pink on dragon. Their team does have a ward here, but they're not going to be able to interrupt that dragon. That's going to help us get a little bit further ahead. And in top lane, Spreakaway has been pushing the whole game, has finally managed to pick up that tower, and is going in After that guy Gia, he's popped the ghost. Is he going to be able to chase this down? No, the flash is going to get him out. Meanwhile, action going on over here as well. Going to keep an eye on this. I've already used Sejuani ult. We're going to get a nice Janna ult. It is a 4-on-4 right here. They are correctly going after Wizard Ninja, but it's a great Orianna ult by Blink, and I'm just sitting in the middle of the team tanking them. Going to dash in there at the end. So we're actually going to go 3 for 0 in that fight. That guy, Gia, did manage to escape, but Soraka's the only one left, and there's really nothing Soraka can do to escape this. And Blink's going to pick off that kill as well. And then we're going to finish off... We're going to finish off this tower? No, actually, we're not, because we don't have minions. But we are going to go ahead, go to this blue, and we were pretty far ahead, and that fight has now put us even further ahead. So we'll be able to give this over to Blink, you die, and walk out of there with a blue buff steal as well. So we've really started to snowball out in front of their team in this game. And then... what am I going to do? I think I'm going to go clear our red buff, if I remember this correctly. And then after that, look to buy. Alright, so if you check out the gold totals, again, in part due to having cleared more jungle camps, in part due to having the global gold from the dragons and the towers and all that, and of course, just being 303, I've managed to snowball pretty far ahead of the mirror match Sejuani jungle. I'm about 2,000 gold ahead right now, and that's pretty significant. One other thing that I'll mention here is Sai went for the early Merc Treads, and that's a defensible item choice because our team did have 2 ability power champs. We did have Singed, and we also had Orianna's. Plus, Sejuani deals all magic damage as well. So, our team was dealing quite a bit of magic damage. That said, I probably would not have rushed Merc Treads on Sejuani just because she doesn't really need Boots 2 to be all that fast. Note that Sai is 385 movement speed. I'm actually 400 without Boots 2. So, the Boots 2 doesn't really do that much to speed you up, as Wizard picks up yet another kill. And wow, he is just dealing enormous damage now that he's got, well, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and a pickaxe. I don't think that you really need the Boots too, and I don't think that we had so much crowd control that really needed to rush that Tenacity. I don't think that that was that necessary. Anyway, though, they're going to top lane to gank Spreakaway. Sai has already used his ultimate. Of course, it's always hard to go after a Singed. I see this. I'm going to head up here and watch. Going to go ahead and Q in, then ultimate, go in with the W with the mace swinging all around. And that was a pretty easy double kill. So Spreakaway, once again, baiting is Singed. You don't want to chase Singed. Very easy ult to hit just because all I had to do was Q up right next to Renekton and the enemy Sejuani, and then just toss a point-blank Glacial Prison, and, you know, just rely on on W and E to get the final blow there. So we're also going to take down the tower, and this game is rapidly moving into its finishing stages at this point. There's very little the enemy team could do. And our team is, well, it's 15-1, so as you might imagine, this game is not looking to be all that close at this particular point in time. I do have the Sunfire Cape. I grabbed a cloth armor. I can't remember what I was building that towards. I think it was going towards an Aegis eventually. Anyway, Senan has popped his Valor, whatever the Quinn ultimate is. The bird has come out. I am chasing in behind this. And Blink, watch this. Yeah, the plays, the Orianna mechanics. That was a blind QW over the wall. Managed to pick off that kill and got that one without any real trouble. Meanwhile, fight going on in bottom lane. Poor Soraka will go down yet again. In mid lane, we're continuing to push this tower, and the game is, well, rapidly coming to a conclusion here at this point. Gia is in the area, looking to pick a fight. By the way, note that my ult is already off of cooldown, even though I just used it in top lane. There we go, locked up 3 members of the team. Then the MF ultimate comes out as well. The bullet time dealing so much damage, double shot. Now I'm going to charge in after Renekton, want some of that crocodile meat, and that is going to be actually an ace with the people killed elsewhere. So that was a good use of Sejuani ult. Does combo quite well with the Misfortune bullet time. Locked up 3 members of their team right as Wizard Ninja used MF ult, and they got bullet timed pretty hard. Alright, so go ahead, grabbing the middle inhib. Senan is trying to escape. Nice Janna slow by Ansman, by the way. Gonna dash in there and actually not even get an assist on that. Apparently didn't deal any damage to Senan the Pro. So mid inhibitor goes down. Top tower, top inhib, soon to fall. And bottom tower is actually on half health as well. So at this point, their team just trying to defend those double Nexus turrets. We are going to go ahead and claim this. However, our team is a bit beat up. We do not have Orianna with us. And we are just going to go ahead and back out and not take any more chances. At this point, just going to go ahead and disengage from this particular fight. So yeah, we're going to go back and buy. If you check the gold totals, note how everyone is sitting on at least 1,300 gold. In fact, Wizard Ninja is sitting on 3,000 gold. So we're just going to go ahead and buy and look to finish the game on the next push because it's pretty close. Not that this game was, not that this game was really in doubt, but you never really want to dive the Nexus turrets if you don't have to. It definitely makes more sense to go back in base and buy, and then look to finish the game on a push from there. In particular, I believe we're going to go straight to Baron and try to finish up the game from there. So yeah, I was building towards Aegis. Runic Bulwark, the finished version of that. We didn't have one on the team. Janna just finished an Aegis, but as with most tanky supportish junglers, items like Aegis and Runic Bulwark are very good on Sejuani as well. So to get the aura effect on the rest of the team, and of course that makes me more tanky. 3,200 health, 155 armor, 126 magic resist. That's pretty good. We've got the Oracle on Singe. Just make sure that we can clear this vision out. There's not much the enemy team can do. They have 2 inhibs down. Not really in position to fight for Baron. By the way, check out those frost effects on Baron. Looks pretty neat. So anyway, we're going to clear this and then look to try and end the game from there. As I mentioned before, on skilling order, again, pretty sure W first, E second. I believe you can go E first, but your jungle clear is very slow. We'll help you gank. And then 1 point in Q, max it last. Of course, skill your ult when it's available. Okay, so Gia jumps in. He uses his escape to go in. He's going to flash away from my Q. And oh, by the way, that's embarrassing. Missed the ultimate right there. It did hit Soraka. Like I said, it will explode if you don't hit anything. And did get the slow on Soraka. But missed the ultimate. We are still going to be able to pick off that guy, Gia. Elsewhere, Blink You Die managed to win the 1v1 against Senin. And they're just going to go ahead and surrender. And, I mean, wow. Can you blame them? The game would have been over in 10 seconds anyway. Would have just killed the Nexus turrets. But this one snowballed out of hand very, very early on. And, like I said, just was not close. So anyway, that's an example of some Sejuani gameplay. I picked this not because the match was close, because obviously it wasn't, but because we had a chance to look not just at one Sejuani, but at 2 Sejuanis. We had the mirror match in the jungle. And, well, my lanes did a really good job on their own, but I think that I did have some effective ganks. I pulled off some pretty effective ones in bot and mid lane at different points in time. And then hopefully at the end you could see in some of those team fights how getting off the Sejuani ult, the Glacial Prison, allows you to lock up the enemy team. And it synergizes quite well with Orianna's ult or Misfortune's ult or really any area of effect ultimate. By the way, the Singe Poison is still hissing under the interface, so sorry about that. Anyway, though, short video, short game. Just wanted a chance to look at some Sejuani play. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you've been having a great weekend. And I will see you this upcoming week. Until then, take care. Have a great week.